I'll keep as well.
All right, turn one, Ponder for Alec to start us off. Adam on the left with Rug Delver. Alec on the right with Omnitel. Omnitel hot in Legacy right now.
Oh, yeah, anything more interesting? Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
All right, Ponder Shuffle, not bad.
It's so nice, the selection.
Belonzo's on Maverick. We asked chat what decks they're on. If you're watching this later on YouTube, tell us what decks you're on. Approximately 2 weeks after the bans. And after the release of Tarkir Dragonstorm. Tarkir Dragonstorm looking like a higher than the previous few sets impact on Legacy kind of a set.
Brainstorm. What are we doing? I don't know. Is this us though? Yeah. Okay. So,
All right, players appear to be having fun. The Almighty Cheddar is on Voice of Victory Boros Energy. That sounds interesting. Salty Moles asking about subscriptions. Not really sure what you're asking, to be honest. Specchio, thank you for the sub with Prime, 25 months.
Mind if I just switch those? Okay. And then I will pass turn. Brainstorm. Yep.
All right, Brainstorm for Alec. For anyone having difficulty with subscriptions or memberships for 90s MTG, just definitely post a question in our Discord and I'll get around to it. It's a little hard for me to do on the live stream.
Fetch. Yep.
All right, Mr. Rainforest. Whoa. Okay. Mr. Rainforest, correct here. Founding another basic island. Ooh, what's that? So, what's that first basic island from? The one that's tapped. Is that one of the old promos? I don't recognize that one. And I'm not even trying to goad the chat right now like I usually do. I'm actually not sure. Oh, it's the APAC Island? Okay. I didn't recognize that one. Maybe I haven't seen it in a long time. Is that one super rare? I feel like I have not seen that one before.
Misty Rainforest. Brainstorm. Yep.
All right. Was a little stumped on that island.
These two back on top. Correct.
Okay, some people saying it's a Euro island. I don't know. I trust Specchio in the chat. Specchio seems to know this stuff.
Target's Race Channeler? Sure.
All right, that's a Dragon's Rage Channeler. This card is still good in Legacy here in 2025. Couple of years old now. It's had its time on the watch list as other cards kind of around it. Supporting cast of the Delver deck got clipped a couple of times over the past few years, but Dragon's Rage Channeler still around. Still a good card. Still surveilling like crazy. Still delirious.
Drawing your upkeep.
All right, that's a trop for Alec. These Omnitel decks here in 2025 tend to have green. That's a stock up card from Aether Drift that is hot in Legacy right now. It's an uncommon from Aether Drift.
The draw is just too powerful.
I don't even know if Legacy players know what Aether Drift is, but stock up is from that set, and it's hot in Legacy right now.
Keep. I will fault you. Trigger. Oh, yeah.
Okay, Lightning Bolt, mill a fetch land into the graveyard. Just going right after Alex's life total, I guess.
Play Wasteland.
Keith Master Flex liking the life counters we're using.
Land instant artifact. Yeah, land instant and artifact. Brainstorm. Yep. Trigger.
All right, a brainstorm now. Trying to find Delirium. Get this Dragon's Rage Channeler all charged up, ready to go. And send it into the red zone. Jacob here in the chat. What's up, Jacob?
These two back on top like this. I'll waste that drop. Combat. Attack for 1. 15.
Couldn't find Delirium. Attacks for 1, though. Against decks like Omnitel, you want to kind of disrupt their first few powerful plays and then get some 3-power flyers up and running. Alec just doing a bunch of cantripping so far. Occasionally, you'll see people go after the cantrips, go after the stock-ups. Yeah, Jacob apologizing for casting a Mox Opal into a Trinisphere in the last stream. There you have it, everybody. There is the public apology. We're moving on. Major violation. But they said sorry. It's all good. All right, Alec with an interesting selection of basic islands. Keeping us guessing. Lotus Petal now. Alec going a little crazy with the versions in this deck, huh? Stock up now. Yeah, Jacob is a Beans gamer.
I will.
Stock up seeing a lot of play in these Omnitel decks. Part of the reason the Omnitel decks are hot right now is stock up. Control players are trying it as well.
No. You like that? You crack it, cast it, so it's still on the stack. Because what if I want to like cast this? Sure. Okay, so before you need it.
I should have muted my notifications. Sorry about that.
Turn.
Yeah, you have 1 blue, 1 black.
Attack for 1. 13.
Still haven't found Delirium. Just chipping away with this sad Dragon's Rage Channeler.
And I will pass turn.
I will.
Mr. Art saying the Discord ping we heard they thought were on their end. You know, I don't brag about it enough, but 90s MTG now has one of the largest Magic the Gathering Discord servers, and I invite all of you watching, whether live or later, to join. Come hang out with us on Discord. I mean, good for us. We have a massive, as far as Magic the Gathering Discords, massive Eternal format focused Discord server available for all of you to come hang out in. Kind of proud of that. It's one of the things I'm most proud of with this 90s MTG project, honestly.
That game I got through.
These 2 cards.
Another stock up has happened. Alec trying to figure this out. Eventually going to attempt to get Emrakul or Omniscience or one of these other crazy cards onto the battlefield. And Adam better be ready. Here's Thundering Falls to Surveil. Keep in mind also, Adam is also looking for disruption if he doesn't have it already. Gonna need to stop that show and tell. If and when that happens, there's probably going to be a counter war over it as this game goes later and later.
Now you're on the.
Yeah, so sad. Yeah. Untap, upkeep, draw. Yep. Attack for 3. 10.
All right, we found Delirium. Attacking for 3. The clock is speeding up. Ooh, there it is, folks. The big one. The Murktide Regent.
5.
This card is crazy. Force pitching force. Alec knows what's up. I think Adam is probably happy to get those double forces out of the hand. I think we're happy with that.
Yep.
So it's kind of like ancient Howling Mine plus.
Yeah, a lot of talk about Ashen Rider these days as sideboard cards to bring in against these Omnitel decks. Something nasty to put in. The One Ring is a nasty one.
Seek the beast. Attempt to seek the beast. Sure.
Seek the Beast in response. That could mean that Adam doesn't have a way to stop the One Ring right now. Surveil, dump a DRC. I don't think we need that at the moment. Mishra's Bauble. Force of Will. Found a Force of Will. Okay. It's a good sign as Harry Houdini arrives in the chat.
I will pitch Daze to cast Force of Will. Trigger. Trigger's good.
Daze on top of the library. Not going to be a great at the moment. Dumps it into the graveyard. Looks like 2 cards left in Adam's hand. Alec is going to sack Petal. Flusterstorm on the Force.
Yeah, results.
Looks like the One Ring is in. Alec will get protection. And then draw a card off the One Ring. It is true, though, that these burden counters are going to hurt quite a bit. Alec's life total is pretty low. Lightning Bolt is a card that exists. No green mana for Questing Druid at the moment.
Bobble. Trigger. Yep. I'll bobble you. Sure. Sorry. Thanks. And then,
Okay, Misty Rainforest on top of the deck, seen by Mishra's Bauble. Alec will lose a life. Skipped attacks there. Under the protection of the One Ring. Draw 2 cards now. Sometimes these Omnitel decks just have trouble finding the other pieces of the combo. Stuff like having Emrakul in hand, no show and tell, having show and tell in hand, nothing to put in. That's why we're cantripping and stocking up so much. Bit surprising Alec hasn't done anything yet, other than cast the One Ring, which is obviously super powerful. But that's also a tool to find combo pieces.
combat. Sure. Attack for 3.
So let's say you cast one.
Sink into Stupor.
Get results.
What a side.
After that game 1, that's the
2. Wait, Dragon's Rage Channeler? Yep. And I
So
will
the transfer 2, when you go to cast force, you're going to pay the extra.
last turn after that.
All right, Alec's going to drop to 5 here with the 1 ring, but became able to draw 3 more cards.
You're at 7, right?
The
Taking 2 down. Got it. 5, right? Yeah. Sorry.
The reason why, for example,
the likelihood of Alec winning a counter war and also getting Omniscience or Emrakul or something into play is looking pretty good right now for Alec. All right, I think we have a show and tell on the stack, and I think we're going to have a fight. Brainstorm, Cervelle.
Okay. Resolves? No, the brains. Oh, yeah. Sorry. Okay.
Okay, dumped a Ponder into the graveyard. Don't need that at the moment. Adam is resolving a Brainstorm, trying to look for interaction for this show and tell. The Omnitel decks are often running Veil of Summer,
I will pitch
which just shuts down the whole thing.
Delver of Secrets to attempt to force a will. Trigger.
Okay, Delver should be exiled. All right, we're correcting that. But force pitching Delver on show and tell.
Trigger's good.
Unholy Heat, don't need that.
Come to Valve.
Thunders and mountains.
Veil of Summer.
So I played Veil of Summer last week. Such a good card. Spells. Okay. Yeah. That resolves. Yep.
Veil of Summer resolves. Show and tell is going to resolve.
Yep. I don't. What is it? Omniscience? Yeah. Okay.
Omniscience is on the board.
Okay, let's go. Sorry.
All right, and then an Emrakul to end the game. Adam concedes. Game 1 goes to Alec.
You know how that feels. It's just like, the unfair decks, we got them. It's like, no, we don't. Yeah. Reader, we did not. But yeah. So, yeah.
All right, Adam's going to be on the play here for Game 2. The lack of Delirium on that Dragon's Race Channeler for a couple of turns hurt pretty bad. Likely was a big reason why Alec had enough time to kind of charge up and then show and tell an Omniscience and then an Emrakul. Let's see how Adam does it in Game 2. Cracking a Misty Rainforest. Tropical Island to start. Okay.
I was expecting a drop.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting a drop either. Turn 1 Delver of Secrets. This card's still good in 2025.
Then I will pass turn.
There's not that many rulers. And some cases without the town and winning.
Ponder? Yeah.
All right, Ponder.
Then we can go all the way to the last.
Screenshot this and send it to your friend that complains about power creep. Look at all these old cards, everybody. Legacy's so beautiful.
Go. Untap. Upkeep.
Ponder now like 15 years old or whatever.
Play the thing, play the thing.
All right, now finds a Volcanic Island. Kind of main dual land in this deck. It is kind of just Is It Delver with Questing Beasts for the most part. Here's Dragon's Race Channeler.
Bobble.
If I can sneak it in.
All right, Dragon's Race Channeler surveils a land into the yard. Just one type in the yard right now. All right, now a Ponder trying to get more types. Left a card on top.
So I'll draw this off this. And then I will bobble you.
3 types in the yard right now. Look like a hedge maze on top of Alec's library.
I will move to combat. Attack you for 1. Pass turn. And draw on your upkeep.
This Delver flips and Dragon's Range Channeler gets delirious. It's going to be a really fast clock. 6 power in the air. The Omnitel decks don't run like Swords to Plowshares or Lightning Bolt or anything like that. So, all right, here's Ancient Tomb. Maybe it's go time. Show and tell.
Yeah.
It resolves. Omniscience.
Yeah. Do you have Emrakul in your hand? No. Okay. Okay. Got it. Yeah.
Okay, now a stock up. Gonna try and find Emrakul here. If not Emrakul, there's also Atraxa. There's Verdant Force, Phantom Neshoba. There's Emrakul. GG. Adam with no interaction there.
I know.
I'm surprised. Okay. Okay. I have played Pre-Modern, but I haven't played it in a long time. Our Discord server is up on your screen. Join the Discord if you're not in the Discord. We also have a Patreon that you can follow for free. Reminder that July 13th here in New York City, the first ever 90s MTG Legacy Open will be taking place. Tickets are on sale. Maybe I'll see you there. Now Twitch chat will vote for which match we will watch next on today's stream. Which match next? It is up to you, people of the chat. Miracles versus Is It Delver? Or Cloudpost versus Mystic Forge? Or Miracles versus Omnitel? You have 1 minute. Get your votes in. Get your votes in, everybody. I'm going to vote on this one. What do I want? All right, I voted. I don't know. I just kind of voted for a random one. Sign Fable says, let's go. Caught a stream. Thank you for being here. This is The Real Show. Mr. Arch calling Delver versus Miracles Boomer Legacy. 30 seconds to vote. Voodoo Games is here. Got a lot of cool people in the chat today. By the way, if you're here watching and you don't say hello in the chat, nobody knows you're even here. So what is really the point? Almost out of time. All right, Jacob contributed 150 channel points. Cloudpost versus Mystic Forge. Let's do it. Diving in. Cloudpost on the left, that would be David. On the right, we have Mystic Forge. That would be Jacob. Looks like we're in the middle of mulligans here. Jacob with the Batman sleeves as usual. 2 cards on the bottom, a multi 5. The impressive and interesting Pro Tour Aether Drift playmat. Aether Drift, Ancient Tomb into Grim Monolith. Very nice.
Okay, this goes to the draw.
On the Cloudpost side, we have a very nostalgic set of sleeves and playmat. Planner Nexus to start. Urz's Tower on the other side. Another Grim Monolith. All right, Urza's Tower for Davin now. The One Ring, everybody. The One Ring.
Ditch the best.
Well, both players are going to have a lot of mana in this game, it looks like. Both decks capable of insane amounts of mana. Planar Nexus now on the other side, and Urza's Tower tapping for 3. Manifold Key, keeping track of mana with dice. 10 mana?
Float 1 into a blue, then use 3 more, cast P over 3. Good. 6 floating.
All right, paradoxical outcome has happened here. This is going to get crazy.
Cast coverage. Draw 3.
Coveted Jewel now. Let's go. All right, you can tell by that coveted Jewel that Jacob is just not messing around.
Flesh Raker with this.
Yep.
This game is not a joke. Glaring Flesh Raker.
Oh man, that's a count. Sorry.
Targeting deeps and step. Check.
6.
Got it.
This goes to 3. Make a
This is
mana.
an okay.
Floating.
Go to make 2 colorless. Use 1 of it. Cast a manifold key trigger. You will take no damage.
Go to combat. Yep.
Untap the Grim model.
Keep in mind, David is under the protection of the One Ring right now.
Trigger.
Second Flesh Raker, though.
Wasteland.
Sacrifice these 2. Grim model with trigger. There's 2 more.
Trigger.
Serious question. Has David already lost this game?
4, 5, 6. Coveted Jewel. Trigger. Draw 3 cards.
Exploration.
Coveted Jewel, a card that, you know, if you ask people to name 50 legacy cards, they probably wouldn't name, but it's out there. It's in many different combo builds, Stormy, Flesh Rakery decks, and Flesh Rakery. This paradoxical outcome version of the colorless ramp, Mystic Forge, Flesh Raker, whatever deck. Dom V in the chat says this is basically a vintage deck.
Say it goes back in.
Okay.
That's a Mox Opal.
Inspiration.
Check.
Trigger.
Target.
Another paradoxical outcome has happened.
So down to 3. Trigger up to 5. 5.
Attack for 3.
5.
Yeah, a Karn on David's side could be pretty good here, but it's going to need some help. I mean, Flesh Rakers can attack too. It's not over yet, but all right, passing the turn.
Trigger on the stack. 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Go.
Cast this for X equals 9. Oh wait, sorry. I'm gonna sack all these and cast this for X equals 14. That's alright. I forgot I could do that.
Okay. X is 14 on this Kozilek's command. I didn't hear what we're doing with it, though.
Almost good.
I'm making things and scrying.
I respond.
Sure.
Okay, so we're making spawns and scrying. And with the double flush rakers on the board, this should be game over.
Caracas stage.
Sell this. Okay.
Cause that command on my
One on
tabernacle.
your cracker and I will scry 3 and draw.
Get a bug. Target you.
Okay, sure.
Okay, so X is 3 on David's Kozilek's command. Getting rid of the flush raker. One of them.
Very good.
It's the rumble gun.
Yeah.
Billosaurus Rex, thank you for the resale with Prime, 15 months. Legacy sucks. Vintage is the only haven left for real Magic players who don't complain. I don't know about that one.
Can I get the resolve?
Make a good.
Unhinged takes coming in from Bill.
So you're gonna take 14.
Yeah.
All right, 14 damage gets in.
3, 14, and plus 1. Okay.
AP pointing out that 2 flush raker triggers happened. Okay, let's get the text up on the screen for Glaring Flush Raker one more time. Just to teach everybody what's going on here. Whenever you cast a colorless spell, create a 1/01 Eldrazi spawn. Whenever the creature you control, another colorless control enters, deals 1 damage. So there would be 1 more, or 2 more rather,
Attack for 3.
Eldrazi spawns, and that would be 2 more damage.
Pass the turn. On your up key, tap that down. Trigger.
I'll draw 2.
Yep. Okay, drawing 2 cards now with the 1 ring.
Low. Yep. Target alter. Check. Bus.
The Tabernacle at Pendrell Vale. It will result in some of these Eldrazi spawns having to go away.
And 2 ports.
Yeah.
No loan on the graveyard.
No loan.
Okay, so I'll use. So I might upkeep. Put all these triggers in the stack. Yep. I'll use this to pay for the flush raker. Okay. And then I'll use 7 of these to pay for the other 7. Yeah.
I'm gonna waste.
Okay, so we're going to have 7 Eldrazi spawns remaining, using 7 of them to pay for their 7 other friends. A second Flesh Raker. That is the game. All right, Jacob up a game. In kind of a battle of different Planar Nexus, One Ring, Artifact, Ramp decks. Some cards in common, but as you can see, the Mystic Forge deck, a bit more of a combo deck. Paradoxical outcome in this case. All right, 1 card on the bottom for Jacob, getting ready to go. Cloudpost past the turn, FNM promo.
Yep.
There is Glaring Flesh Raker past the turn.
One black, 1 colorless, 2 life.
All right, a removal spell. Dismember just killed that Glaring Flesh Raker. That was a big play for David. Now the 1 ring. Planar Nexus on David's side. Okay, Urza's Tower getting a lot of mana. Both decks make a lot of colorless mana, as you can see. Candelabra, okay.
It's nice because I already started with 61 cards, so there's always fluff.
Go ahead.
Look at this power creep. We got to play with Candelabra of Taunos now. Grim Monolith. Urza's Tower. Power creep, everybody.
One card is floating here. And that's the glaring for sure.
Another glaring flesh raker just keeps dropping these people on the these cards on the table.
I used to. Okay.
I don't know why I said people.
8.
Lord has arrived in the chat. The dog with a great question is Mystic Forge back at the top of the meta. I don't know. We'll see.
Sure.
Yeah, Candelabra of Taunos was confirmed tested for 1v1. I read an article about that 30 years ago. Another Kozilek's Command managed to get rid of another glaring fresh raker. Fighting off the flesh rakers is going to be important here for David.
Six lands, no ramp. I feel like you can't keep like a generic wastelands.
Give me for one? No, because it was dead. We wanted a creature. Okay. Here's the floating mana that has a manifold key.
Go ahead.
My heat was coming up and it was getting super loud. It's not even that cold right now.
Use this and this. 3 for 3.
Paradoxical outcome. All right, we're doing that again.
Good.
After I put my saw on your
So we have a little bit more of a battle here in game 2 where David's getting to fire off some removal spells and take a couple of turns. Making a lot of mana.
4, 10. Yep. Sure, 6 floating.
Okay, the 1 ring with 6 floating. Having protection from the 1 ring is pretty good here. It does get a bird encounter.
2, 3, 4. Nice. I'll take. Sorry. What'd you take? A saga. Okay.
This is the gain life one?
And pass the turn.
6. Wait, does it count itself? Sorry.
Oh, which card is this again? The name is
That's for your mana, yeah. So you have a 1 counter. Use one of it.
Oh, you play.
Sorry?
You play power.
Last turn, yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll go back to the beginning of the turn. I think that's fine.
Yeah, sure.
Because I forgot to sack this. So we're back at the beginning of the turn.
Breaker of Creation? Is that right?
What's different here?
Oh, yeah, it is right. It is right. Yeah.
I don't think that much is different. Take 2.
That name doesn't ring a bell. Thank you, Audrey.
This is the one
It's not one we see often. One of the weird Eldrazi from Modern Horizons 3. Well, I guess all the Eldrazi are weird, but as you cast a spell, gain 1 life for each colorless permanent you control. Hexproof from each color, Annihilator 2. 8/4 for 8 mana.
Should be at 6 total here, after all.
Keep in mind, David's under the protection of the One Ring. Annihilator 2 is going to be annoying if it gets to attack. Here's Coveted Jewel once again.
Drop it. You drop.
Competition.
Take 3 board.
Get Bob.
Coveted Jewel, weird ability. Whenever 1 or more creatures an opponent controls attack you and aren't blocked, that player draws 3 cards and gains control of this artifact on tapping. It's a strange card.
Sure.
For 6? Yep.
Guess the plan here is not to give David another turn, though, if possible. Paradoxical outcome stuff happening.
I like shuffling more. Sure.
At least not where he'll get to attack with a creature unblocked. Audrey suggesting how Initiative and Monarchy should have worked.
Sure.
Audrey does not play Commander.
Rumble.
Yep. Your monolith? Yeah. Sorry, I'm just slow. I'm trying
No, it's okay.
to figure out my plan here.
Legacy players will be like, you know how Monarchy should have worked? Never drafted Conspiracy even once. You know how Initiative should have worked? Don't even know what Baldur's Gate is. No idea what's happening. Conspiracy Draft was actually really cool.
Oh.
It was one of my favorite limited formats ever. I'm not even making a joke. I drafted this Conspiracy 2 like 20 times. Which is a lot for me. Lots of artifacts getting dropped on the table, as you can see.
Tap that, make it 3. Goes down to 2, then up to 5.
Hello? Saga stage.
Looks like Karn the Gate Creator now.
So bad. Wait, this is trample? Sorry. Texture from each color. Play a card.
Saga.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Yep.
I'm gonna tap.
Minusing Karn the Great Creator now. Shuts off the One Ring, shuts off Candelabra, obviously. We don't have blockers yet for the Breaker of Creation, which is something. Kiviuk and Mr. Arch loved Conspiracy as well. Another set I drafted that I really liked, Unstable. It was awesome. I did like 5 or 6 of those.
I'm gonna make 3. I guess I'll make 4 guys and scribe 1 drop target.
Okay. Looks like a K command, X is 4, making 4 Eldrazi spawns. One of them will be able to block here. And scribe 4.
Put this one on top and the rest on the bottom. Draw this card.
Are you enough to put it?
Yeah,
Nice. Yeah, you got it. Whew. All right.
All right, passing the turn back to David. Gets another turn. Is under the lock of Karn the Great Creator at the moment.
He's playing it really slow. Because the game went, and then it went from 0 to 100. I don't know what it is.
Oh, I guess the coveted jewel is no longer on the board, right? I don't see it anymore.
Pass?
Well, anyway.
Oh, sorry.
That's a Cloudpost that just got played.
I make a green because competition.
Okay, a crop rotation happening here. Ooh, what could be looking for?
Yeah, you're alive in game 1.
Blast Zone. That's not bad right now. I mean, it's not like it's going to be game winning, but blow up all those keys. That's not the worst. Candelabra also gets blown up, unfortunately. But getting rid of all the keys, not bad. Not bad.
Sorry?
Annihilator 2.
Sorry, I missed that.
There's an Annihilator trigger on the stack. Annihilator 2 here from the Breaker of Creation.
Okay, I'll stack 2 of these and then bulk with one of them.
Okay, so sacking 2 of them to Annihilator, blocking with a third, down to 1 Eldrazi spawn now. Grim Monolith will stay tapped. Karn the Great Creator persists.
Sorry, yeah, I'll float 2 mana.
Yeah,
I'll play Shasha.
All right, now the coveted jewel is back. Karn the Great Creator thinking about what to do with it. It's shutting off the One Ring on David's side. Essel, thank you for the sub with Prime. Appreciate that.
Is it too slow? Is it too much enabler, non-enabler?
Yes.
Okay, now a One Ring on Jacob's side. And draw a card, put a burn counter on it. It's a good thing we got rid of all those keys.
Plus, on my coveted.
Yeah.
That's what I meant.
Go.
Okay, Coveted Jewel is a creature now. I guess it's a 6/6. Breaker of Creation is an 8/4, so actually a decent blocker.
Extensively, you won't get very well. Right?
Annihilator 2 could still happen here. Beseiju on the Coveted Jewel.
Can I read?
Yeah. Just basic island.
Yep. Actually, let me think.
Okay, Jacob finds a basic island, puts it into play. Looks like we're going to go to combat. Breaker of Creation, Annihilator trigger now. Annihilator 2.
Who are you attacking here? Are you attacking me or Karn?
Karn. Okay.
Okay, attacking Karn, which makes a lot of sense. Need to get that thing off the table. There is an Eldrazi spawn that could chump block here. But we're going to lose 3 permanents on Jacob's side, it looks like.
I'll sack it with
That's a good way to put it.
All right, sacking both Grim Monoliths, chump blocking with the Eldrazi spawn. Karn Silex comes in.
I always feel like I'm changing. I don't feel that.
Oh, man.
me by Exos.
I don't feel
Yep.
So my turn.
Sure.
Lose one.
Only one player can use their one ring, and that's probably going to matter a lot in this game. Glaring Flesh Raker, another one of those. Card's a pain in the butt.
Good.
Play Mystic Forge, trigger, make a spawn.
All right, there is Mystic Forge now, and this could get ugly. David still has a high life total, but
Saga, Fog, and Dice.
I'm gonna minus.
okay. Karn's gonna tutor now. Looks for it and finds a Mox Opal. Just got placed under me right here.
Tokens for colors.
Play a Mox
Fog you.
trigger, do 1d.
I'll take that. I'm down 18.
AP says Planner Nexus players deserve their torture. Wow. Audrey pointing out that the Mystic Forge cannot be activated because of Silex. Yeah, can't pay 1 life.
Cast a Grim Monolith trigger, deal 1d.
I like amazing.
Has 2 colors floating. After casting this trigger, deal 1d. Use the 2 colorless floating into dude. Cast a 1 ring. Make another dude, deal 1d.
Okay, another copy of the One Ring. Yeah, it looks like the Mystic Forge was activated. That was not allowed with Karn Silex on the table, but both players missed it. Keep going.
Trigger, deal 1d.
What a messy game. Squandered value.
All right, passes the turn. Whole bunch of permanents now on the board.
Force.
Be discarding to hand size as well. Breaker of Creation looking a little sad now.
Before you do that, I'm just gonna hit this.
Okay, Force of Vigor. Getting cast here. The Spirit Guide was exiled. Hitting Mystic Forge and looks like Manifold Key. If I'm not mistaken. All right, that's going to resolve.
Annihilator trigger.
All right, so the Breaker is attacking Karn. Annihilator trigger is happening.
Sacrifice one of this and this.
Sacking a spawn, sacking a Grim Monolith, blocking with a spawn. Passes the turn. The One Ring brings Jacob down to 3 life. Is David hellbent now? 3 life, 3 burn encounters on the One Ring. Karn has managed to stick around. There's a Flesh Raker on the battlefield.
I'm gonna copy your basic force.
Jacob will prioritize protecting Karn. That was a good choice.
It'll be a 4 mana trigger. Make a dude. Puts me to 7 mana. Trigger.
Looks like that's what it says.
tap this. So I'll be at 9 total.
Basic forest.
So it's now stuck with the forest.
But it's, I thought it
So
changed.
cast is for 7, trigger on
It becomes
cast.
a copy. I think you'd have to name basic forest.
Okay, Kozlik's command. It sounds like X is 7. Pointing out the Fleshraker trigger here for cast.
I just want to make sure that's what
Scry
you
7.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
So I'm be at 11 total, dude. And Scry 7.
David has dropped down to 10. I think I saw a Mystic Forge in the mix there. Scry 7, we might be here for a while. Yeah, there might have been I wasn't really watching closely on the spawns, but extra mana could have been pumped into this Kozlik's command, potentially.
for 4? Actually, let me
I draw
check,
the
like,
top
this one.
card.
Good.
Tap this Mox Opal. Use 3 of these. 1, 2. Take 2. 5, 6.
Paradoxical outcome again for 6 this time.
Yeah. Trigger this.
Yep. Vacuum.
Got that 1 ring off the board. Mox Opal, Lotus Petal.
For 4.
All right, Kozlik's command then could end the game. Jacob gets it. Interesting matchup. GG's. I don't know if we've seen Mystic Forge versus Cloudpost on stream before. That was interesting. At least for me. Thank you for whoever voted for that. That was fun. Let's remind people that our Discord server exists. Join the Discord. Links are all over the place. We have a Patreon, which you can follow for free. Go follow us on Patreon. July 13th here in New York City. The first ever 90s MTG Legacy Open. Tickets are on sale. Let's set up a poll for the Twitch chat. Which match we will watch next. Twitch chat will decide. The options will be Miracles versus Is It Delver? Omnitel versus Temur Beanstalk? Or Omnitel versus Jeskai Control? Or Miracles versus Omnitel? We have a lot of Omnitel in the queue. 1 minute. Get your votes in. One minute. I'm going to vote on this one. What do I want? I want, All right, I voted. Got some altars posted in the Discord. Blacker Lotus is getting picked up. Rakshasa's Bargain looking like the real deal for Legacy so far. Dance of the Dead. I don't know if Legacy players even know that card. People picking up duels. Omnitel versus Rug Beans up next. Lord contributed 900 channel points. Thank you for that. Let's set this up. Diving in.
see. Okay. Actually, you're right. I could just draw on you and draw not even cast it.
Did you find out her name or no?
Do you have dice? I do.
Can't make it today. Odd or even? It is odd.
All right, players resolving die rolls. They chose odd or even, which is interesting. Lord says playing Omni this weekend. Need all the content I can get. That sounds like a plan. I was asking Twitch chat earlier what decks they're playing right now. Anybody else want to share? What deck are you playing right now?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna slip on you.
Also, what formats are you playing right now besides Legacy? What format are you playing the most besides Legacy, chat?
Okay. Same.
All right, Alec keeps 7. Sam keeps 7. Flood Strand pass. Asking the chat which format they're playing the most besides Legacy. See a couple for Standard, Pauper, Modern, Vintage. Nice variety, actually. Some sealed players. Hype Train Conductor Tubbs says EDH.
Results.
Yes, sir.
Brainstorm resolving here. We've seen these Omnitel decks a few times on stream recently. They tend to spend a lot of time cantripping and stocking up, trying to find combo pieces and protection for it. Trying to show and tell and Omniscience into play, cast Emrakul. Usually have to assemble it. Thundering Falls is found. Cervelle.
So trigger here.
Those of you that are playing Modern, how's Modern right now? Is Modern a thumbs up emoji or a thumbs down emoji at the moment? The Lorien revealed Cervelled into the trash. Yeah, the mystery booster sets are really cool. The latest one, Mystery Booster 2, I think Alec is using some of the cards from Mystery Booster 2 in this Omnitel deck. What a great set. I'm ready for Mystery Booster 3. I didn't even get to draft Mystery Booster 2. I still love it. Is Sneak and Show still a thing? I mean, it's still a thing. Ponder now. Yeah, I think the Mystery Booster set only really had drafts firing, like that you can sign up for at conventions. But I guess you can buy a booster box online or something, right? I don't even know. How do you get a booster box?
Go ahead.
Like, I know people bought booster boxes. Festival in a box? Okay. Stock up happening.
Yeah, it's fine.
All right, Sam says it's fine. Is it though?
I cried already 3 blue and 1 black. And I immediately used all 3 blue.
I'll go to my run step. I got hedge maze.
All right, now fetching a hedge maze on end step is Sam. Sam is going to be eventually, it seems, trying to fight off a show and tell. These Omnitel decks, as we saw in a previous match on today's stream, usually have nasty stuff like Veil of Summer and their own Force of Wills to protect. We saw a Flusterstorm in a previous match, I believe. I don't remember if that was post-sideboard, but that's also something that could happen. The Omnitel is really good at resolving show and tell through counter magic.
Ponder.
All right, now a ponder for Sam. Various Beanstalk decks are also popping up now again. A lot of people looking at Sultai and 5-color Beanstalk decks. Sam looking at something different. This Temur build has some cool stuff in it. Okay, Wasteland fired off on Ancient Tomb. That makes sense. Make days a little bit better, maybe. Maybe. Murktide Regent.
Yeah.
It's a 5/5. So we got a nice clock. This game has a clock ticking now for Alec. Sam better have interaction if the combo is presented, though.
Thank you.
Move to discard.
Moving to discard. The deck is basically a package of counterspells, a whole bunch of cantrips of various kinds, 4 show and tell, 4 omniscience, Emrakul, and some Atraxas. So you're going to spend a lot of time cantripping and being unable to find the last piece. Knowing what he's up against here, too, is possible. That we have the combo, just looking for, like, a protection card of some kind. The dog loving how much Beanstalk is making a comeback. About a year ago, a little over a year ago, I covered a local 1K or 2K or something. And there were a lot of Beanstalk decks at the top tables. I mean, Wilds of Eldraine had come out a couple of months prior to that. And all people were talking about at the time was like, Beanstalk is broken. We need to ban it. And, you know, everything's gone horribly wrong. Wizards, you screwed it up again. Now, a little over a year later, people are like, oh, thank goodness, Beanstalk is back. I find the Magic player to be so interesting. I don't know what the hell they want. Mystic Sanctuary. Another card that was on the watch list for a while. I read your tweets. I saw your Reddit posts. Why'd they print Mystic Sanctuary? Sometimes when I'm bored, I'll search the internet for old posts about banning Murktide. Just for fun. It's funny.
Yeah, it was 2-1 because of
And mute mute people after I laugh at their post. I'm weird.
Pest you.
I have weird habits.
Play ice targeting
Ice.
forest.
but I play around it because I have the so I can just shuffle whatever I want. For the future, if you're on against someone who does this like
Veil of Summer in response. Very interesting.
Draw. Drop turn.
Yeah.
All right, and upkeep ice gets countered by a Veil of Summer.
Discard. Omniscience.
Going to discard, discarding Omniscience. Okay. So Omniscience wasn't the card we were looking for. Brainstorm draw now for Sam. Gonna cast it.
put like all of my
At least it looks like that's the plan. 6/6 Murktide. It did grow after the Mystic Sanctuary.
Trigger for your 18 and then for your 15.
I'll let him bolt you.
Bolt to the face. I like it. Going right after Alec here. Alec might have to use up some counter magic to fight over Lightning Bolt, which Sam wants. Spell Pierce. We can pay.
Yeah, so you should be going to 18 and then
Cards.
Spell Pierce is kind of back in a big way in Magic the Gathering after it was reprinted in Nether Drift. Legacy player is not aware of that, but that's okay.
Yep.
I like when they bring back old favorites. Spell Pierce is allowed to resolve. Here's how the real Forager. It's going to grow this Murktide.
Force.
Put.
Okay, Force pitching Omniscience. Murktide still grew, though.
You got it.
All right, game one goes to Sam. Some tricks with Murktide Regent. Well played.
Yes. I could tell. Do you play?
Side owner says, so Chris, people want X card banned until a more offensive card is printed and the window of acceptable play patterns have moved to a more extreme play pattern. I don't know. In this age of Commander, it's like, yeah, they're printing powerful cards. I mean, I don't know. I'm going to go to the next Magicon with a megaphone. They're printing powerful cards. That is all. The most played format is 4-player. Does everybody understand? Is anyone even understanding what's happening?
You know what I'm saying? Exile Symphony Spirit card. But I attempt to cast a Fable when you're ready. It's gone.
Ready?
All right, getting ready to go. Mulligan happens. Basic Island, pass the turn. Voodoo says bring back Grief. Oh, boy. You're going to get people upset, Voodoo. Hedge Maze, Surveil.
Keep. Your turn.
You can't take any of these cards. No. Take that moon.
Yeah, I don't have another force.
We didn't even see Alec attempt to show and tell in game one. We'll see how game two goes. Just Carpet of Flowers. It's pretty good.
Second main. I'll add.
You're talking about Carpet of Flowers on one of our recent live streams. 30 years later, still a big-time sideboard card. We just had someone in the chat a moment ago talking about power creep. Look at Carpet of Flowers, Brainstorm, old fetch lands. I love Legacy. Yeah, don't show, don't tell, says Kivio.
I got my game. Go ahead.
I need to find a clock. It's 1860.
There it is.
Is it mine? Mine's not exact, is it? No.
Trying to figure out this Brainstorm. Need disruption. Need to get a threat on the board. Those are most likely the things that Sam is prioritizing right now.
Go ahead.
So far, no creatures. These Temur Beanstalk decks don't run like Delver or DRC or any of that stuff. Plays a little bit of a longer game. We saw Murktide Region in game 1. And the real Forager as well.
Brazen Borrower and
I'll add green. Up the beanstalk.
Sure.
Okay, up the Beanstalk using mana from the carpet. Now a fetch. Up the Beanstalk will allow Sam to get ahead on cards the longer this game goes. At least potentially. I mean, Alec's deck is also packed with cantrips. At worst, keep up with what Alec is doing, I guess. Force a will, draw a card, for example, could be really good.
Go. Yeah.
All right, passing the turn. Alec likely going to find a hedge maze here in Surveil. Nope. Okay, basic forest. My bad. It's rare that I make a wrong prediction.
I know for a fact Switch is going to be like, yo, why did they fast track? No point.
Specchio, an expert on this stuff, says 8-pack forest. Brainstorm now for Alec. Does Specchio have every card memorized? I don't know. It's possible. Do we have anybody watching that has every version of every Magic card memorized? Okay, Specchio only lands. All right, well, that's not that impressive.
Wanna fetch and put some more islands in play? Any interest?
Once I find my card with flowers, then we'll talk about it.
Okay, Misty Rainforest was just dumped into the graveyard.
Untap and take my turn.
Surveilling. Now back to untap.
I'll add a green. I'll play up the beanstalk.
Sure.
Another copy of the Beanstalk. That's pretty good. So far, Alec just cantripping in this match. No show and tells yet. We saw some omniscience get thrown away in game 1. Likely had too many of those in hand. That's another thing. A hand with 4 omniscience in it, you know, you don't need 4 of them. At least not most of the time. These Omnitel decks could have a hard time finding their combo pieces. And occasionally, you know, in a deck with like Pyroblast and stuff like that, you'll see Alec attempt to stock up, get it Pyroblasted, fight over that, just being, you know, disrupted in multiple ways, getting their lands blown up. Sandorna says the players have some strange and slow moxes on the board. Yeah?
Uh-huh.
All right, Alex. Gonna fetch here. I saw him kind of putting aside 3 mana. Gets a trop. Now an Ancient Tomb. Lorien revealed. Could be a fight over this.
Cards in hand.
4.
Double Beanstalk in play. I wouldn't be surprised to see a Force of Will here. All right, Force of Will, pitching Ponder, double Beanstalk trigger. Veil of Summer. These are the kind of battles you'll see on... all right, Force pitching Murktide, draw 2. All right, Sam's going to draw 4 cards, successfully counter both Veil and Lorien revealed.
On top.
Alec just passes the turn, now with 3 cards in hand. Sam doing a good job stopping Alec from finding the missing pieces to the puzzle. Snow-covered mountain from Ice Age is found. I know that one. I know that one. My first basic lands that were in all my little kid decks were from 4th edition, Ice Age. I had a few from Tempest. Maybe a couple from Revise that my cousin gave me. A couple from Mirage, but all my decks ended up with Ice Age lands for the most part. Those are the ones I chose. Playing kitchen table and school cafeteria table and sidewalk magic back in the day. My decks were horrible. There it is, I admitted it.
Move to second main, add 3 blue. I'll use
Yeah, I'm old as heck.
2.
Force of Will on top of the deck. Mystic Sanctuary, put it there. Here's Ethereal Forager. This card is so cool.
2 triggers on the beast.
Yep, it's good. Force Brainstorm.
Draw.
Force of Will and Brainstorm were exiled with the Elemental Whale. So whenever it attacks, we'll be able to choose one of these cards exiled with Delve and put it into hand. Kiviuk is ancient. Yeah, having double Beanstalk on the board could put you way ahead on cards. It looks like that's coming together for Sam. The fight over the Lorien revealed was a key moment in this game, too.
Step.
Card that?
7 on your upkeep, though. Sorry. Ice. Targeting Ancient Tomb.
Okay, icing Ancient Tomb on upkeep. Tapped it down. Now a brainstorm.
That's fine.
You have to have exactly that.
If this forager gets to attack, most likely Sam's going to put that force of will into hand. Force of will is so good right now for Sam. Draw 2 cards when you cast it.
Yeah, I mean, you have like, yeah, I'm pretty sure the sequencing was there because like it was so hard as they were protecting the ground that they just passed. Because I like a short. I could have done. Problem is I had like a ponder, not a brainstorm, so like I had to. Like I could have just cast. Like petty tax, and okay, you would obviously counter that, like, okay, it doesn't much. I guess then there is no way that there. That should have been fun. But like again, it was like a naked blue, like I only do like 7 cards.
Occasionally you'll look at, we didn't get to see Alex's hand, but if you look at a hand at this point in the game for an Omnitel player, it could be something like Emrakul, Atraxa, Villa Summer, Flusterstorm or something. Just no way of putting them into play.
So you're gonna force another force.
Just what the deck does. Doesn't work every time. Okay, we're making our first attempt at the match. Show and tell. We're going to immediately fire off Power Blast. Alex scoops it up. All right, that is the match. Sam gets it. GG's. Okay. Conceded to Power Blast. Toll Problem says, hey, Chris, it's been a minute since I've stopped by. How is the World of Legacy post-Dragonstorm? I think it's looking good. I'm having a good time. I think everybody else is having a good time. Some experimentation happening. Metagame in flux. No clear best deck or whatever, in my opinion. We'll see. We'll see. We have a couple of weeks before people start complaining again, to be honest. Let's set up another poll for the Twitch chat. Which match next? Your options will be Omnitel versus Miracles, Omnitel versus Jeskai Control, Is it Delver versus Miracles, Breakfast versus Blue-Black Echo of Eons, or Breakfast versus Is It Delver? You have 1 minute. Get your votes in. Get your votes in. I'm going to vote on this one. All right, I voted. Our Discord server is up on your screen. Join the Discord if you're not in the Discord. We also have a Patreon, which you can follow for free. July 13th here in New York City. Don't forget, the first ever 90s MTG Legacy Open. Tickets are on sale. We also have a coffee page. Where are we on subs right now? We're at, if we hit our sub goal of 260, I'll squeeze in another stream this week. How does that sound? Otherwise, this will be the last stream for the week. Almost out of time. The people have voted. Soda Master contributed 1,950 channel points. Breakfast versus Is It Delver is up next. Let's do it. Let's do it. Diving in.
Good.
Regulation
I would have gotten high roll tails. It's my high
All lands.
Good luck. How did you do in Magic on League? You started super high.
I didn't have time.
Are you looking at this side?
So high is because I was super sick.
Yosef on the left with breakfast. Andrea on the right with Is It Delver? Is it Delver? Players getting ready to go.
3, 4 a.m. And people are not that great at that time. I think I cut 7.
Dark Ritual and Fatal Push playmats, right? Neither card likely to be seen in this match. Scalding Tarn gets correct. We're underway. Both players kept 7.
A lot of people recommend a lot of friends from that.
You were playing Jeskai control?
No, I was playing Black White Tetramos.
AJ Potato asking if breakfast players have explored Voice of Victory. I have not yet seen that card on a legacy table around my way. It's possible it'll get tested. Just haven't seen it yet myself. New card from Tarkir Dragonstorm. It's an interesting one.
For now, we endure.
I thought about it. You know, if you've been watching this channel for a while, I've played various dinosaurs on a spaceship decks. If you don't know what I'm talking about, maybe look it up. But that card might be pretty good in that deck. Maybe. Do we have anyone watching that has seen a dinosaurs on a spaceship deck recently? Does anybody know what I'm talking about? Dragon's Ways channel on Andrea's side. That was hard to say. Brainstorm happening here for Yosef. All right. Seems like people haven't seen dinosaurs in a while. Shuko surveilled into the graveyard. Interesting.
Alright, so on my upkeep, we both draw 2 cards. They'll each trigger twice. You take 4.
Game Logics with a question. 90s MTG Modern League. Should there be a Modern League for 90s MTG? I don't know.
Very good.
Even though it's like bullshit.
All right, going right after the mana. I like that. Meticulous Archive gets blown up. Best ways to attack these breakfast decks is to go after them. One of the best ways is to go after their mana. The mana base in these breakfast decks tends to be a little sketchy. Trying to fit like multiple colors of mana and Urza's Saga, and it's kind of easy to disrupt them. Ponder on the stack. Force of Negation, pitching Murktide on a Ponder. Going right after it. Surveilling as well. Volcanic Island into the graveyard. Ponder will be countered. Looks like a great play. I mean, no land drop from Yosef. What do you think, chat? Was that too aggressive? Andrea had the read that Ponder was going to be really important. Looks like he was right. Dragon's Rage Channeler number 2, getting a clock. Do we have Delirium?
You just cast it.
Go, sir.
What?
Okay, just attacking for 1, no Delirium.
Yeah, like I'm a big sort of
Okay, another attempt at the cantrip. This time Brainstorm. It resolves. Okay.
17.
Two Dragon's Rage Channelers on the battlefield. No Delirium yet. With Delirium, obviously, they become a super fast clock. Basic planes. That was a good find. Prismatic Ending. Force pitching force on that. Okay. Protecting Dragon's Rage Channeler. Surveil. We're going to get 2 triggers of that. Firing off counterspells, stopping. Basically non-combo pieces so far in this game. We're going to see how this works out for Andrea. Being very kind of I don't even know what the right word is. Just countering stuff that maybe people don't ordinarily counter, but it looks like it's working so far. If Yosef untaps and combos, though, and Andrea's out of ammo, it's going to look bad. But maybe Andrea just has a heavy interaction hand. Bolt you, double surveil.
I'll take the force.
Okay, leaves one of the cards on top. Did we reach Delirium then? I don't believe so.
Still 2, right?
Yeah.
Okay, no Delirium yet. I'm sure Andrea was hoping to get Delirium. That Lightning Bolt also, of course, could shoot down a Nomads in Core or a Cephalid Illusionist. So, only 1 card now in Andrea's hand. It feels like shields are way down. Urza's Saga. Teferi the Mind Sculptor. Bounce Dragon's Rage Channeler.
Pass the turn.
This was at a somewhat healthy 12 life, but Dragon's Rage Channeler was bounced. Can start making constructs on the following turn, potentially. Bolt Teferi Surveil. I wasn't able to see what card was on top of the deck. Was that just a ponder? What types are missing from the graveyard? Okay. It looks like there's already a sorcery in the graveyard. Just attacking for 1 with DRC. Left a ponder on top, though. There's a Saga ticks up. Savannah. Nadu mana now.
Yep. Now this good. Face.
Pretty big daze. Last card in hand besides Dragon's Rage Channeler was a daze. Surveil. We're going to leave the ponder on top. Andre already knew it was there.
Go ahead.
Pass the turn.
Oh.
Kind of don't want to get Delirium here. Ah, the Nadu is awkward. Ponder, double surveil. Mishra's Bauble found Delirium now, unfortunately. Unfortunately, it looks like this plan is not going to work now. Down to no cards in hand before the ponder resolves. Nadu on defense. Already played a land. I think the advantage bar just swung way over to the left.
Sorry?
Did you draw from the punches?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
This is the draw from.
So now you have delirium.
Yeah.
Is this during your second main phase?
For Rexian
No, it's the main.
First main phase. Yeah. Okay. Are you sure?
No. Yeah, no worries.
Okay, yeah, so Joseph pointing out all that should have been done in your second main phase to prevent the attack. I don't think that was the best way to do things there. The Dragon's Rage channelers. Alright, well, we're making a construct now. Where's the Saga's going to search? Going to find Shuko and... Going through the turns of this game, the force of negation on the cantrip for a moment looked pretty good. It was very aggressive. It was a rewarding play for a moment. And then the force of will, what was the other force of will on? It was on like a prismatic ending to protect DRC. Bolt onto Ferry. There were just a bunch of kind of resources spent on things unrelated to combo. And in a matchup like this, my opinion, Twitch chat, YouTube comments, let us know what you think. You want to save those. All right, it looks like Yosef has assembled the combo now. The resources you have that could disrupt, you kind of want to spend on the combo pieces. Yosef's just going to go through the motions here, it seems.
3, draw, reveal.
He goes, no. Now you make life.
Reveal. Now my deck. Second.
All right, a plan that didn't work out, it seems. Game 1 goes to Yosef. Lightning bolts can be saved to hit Cephalid Illusionist, Snowbands and Core, etc. Force of Wills. I know the breakfast decks sometimes use Cavern of Souls to combo off, but you can counter something. Protecting your Dragon's Rage Channeler, to me, doesn't feel high priority. At least not in the situation that we were in there in Game 1. If, you know, you're delirious with 2-3 power flyers on the board and Yosef is at 6 life, okay, then we can think about protecting Dragon's Rage Channeler. But I think Prismatic ending on Dragon's Rage Channeler, you just let that go through. Most of the time. And if you don't have Delirium yet, and the opponent has a blocker like Nadu, you're going to want to wait until second main to fire off some spells to achieve Delirium so your Dragon's Rage Channelers don't have to attack and die in combat.
Getting stifled? How weird.
So just some like legacy fundamentals stuff popping up in the first game of this match. Some kind of philosophical things maybe as well, where you're like, what are my ooh, a stifle on the Fledge Drain. Okay.
Yeah.
What are what are the purposes for my lightning bolts and dazes and force of wills in this matchup, in this game state? I know these things kind of are situational, and I think everybody gets my point. Just trying to, as best as I can, kind of teach what's going on. and what we can learn from what we're seeing.
I'm in infrastructure. Mostly the distributed system stuff. A lot of data infrastructure. A lot of load. I mean, the markets are very volatile. So every day there's some outage where someone did not predict.
Yusuf finds a Tundra, aware that he's up against a Bolt, Daze, Force of Will deck. Brainstorm.
Brainstorm
Well,
is
usually make it good.
It's fun. Oh man, it's not like there, no lander.
Okay.
Another thing is too, I don't know how much all of you, I joke about like my local meta. There are a bunch of cephalid breakfast players. I play against the deck pretty regularly, but if that's not the case for you, you don't play against the deck regularly. I don't know Andrea's experience of the matchup or whatever, but the experience of playing a matchup will change your decision making over time. Sometimes things just click. You're like, oh, I understand what I was doing wrong. Like, I wasn't approaching this matchup the right way. I was being too aggressive or too defensive or prioritizing removing the wrong spell from the stack or whatever. One of the best things you can do if you're trying to play competitive Magic is just play more Magic. You can read a sideboard guide and somebody's article about how to play a deck, but you got to go out there and get some reps. Fortunately, here in our local scene, we have some talented players that are a challenge to play against no matter what the matchup is. Yosef is definitely one of them. Yosef also is like new-ish to Legacy. So is Andrea. But Yosef with this breakfast deck has kind of like taken off like a rocket in our local scene, consistently at the top of the standings, breakfasting the crap out of people.
Is it no play? Is it no play?
No, this was the last turn, right? Because you did fetch, play, went for this, untapped, fetch. I think so.
So I'm gonna have 7 triggers.
Okay, question about a second land drop here, just making sure. Tubbs saying I think he played 2 lands.
So before I had,
No, just asking. Maybe I'm not sure.
I'm doubting myself now.
You play the flooded?
Stifle, I
I played flooded turn 1.
When you
Into this turn 2.
when you play the
most of
flooded,
the fetch into spawn.
maybe it's the last turn. Yeah. Now.
So do you make before monster?
Go ahead. I think so. Just like played this turn 1. Fetched, stifled me. I was gone. Played another fetch land.
Before the game, I'll take
Pass. Played this.
All right, players just trying to get this right. Did we play a second land? All right, and they're in agreement. Windswept Heath was an extra land drop, so it seems to be fixed. Twitch chat also thought it was a second land drop. The YouTube commenters will be rewinding and fast-forwarding, gleaning this match for errors, and will be very happy to see a situation resolved correctly, it seems.
Pass.
All right, Andrea plays a Wasteland, passes the turn. Wasteland is pretty good in this matchup. Another thing with Wasteland, do you want to prioritize blowing up lands like, this is all situational, of course. Do you want to prioritize blowing up a Tundra, or do you wait to respect there's a Saga later on? There's a Saga, of course, one of the powerful lands in this deck. Or Cavern, or
You can do something for critters. Like, okay, then I saw that scribble. Yeah, that's
There was a second land drop situation, but it looks like it was fixed.
Oh, it's all over vintage.
All right, now the Windswept Heath gets played correctly. Fetching. Good on Andrea. Pointing out the second land drop, paying attention.
I mean, I can try to draw another Fury and try to play both. Even if you go, they go. But I think you have okay.
It's like too happy for like, you know.
Its comma is Yosef in the chat. Took a note from Phil, wrote my matches. Currently 12-3-0 over 4 events. Yeah, Yosef's been killing it for sure.
It's just a card.
Yeah, just like in a blind.
Just playing super tight. No Man's in Core is on the stack. It's going to resolve. No non-basics to hit. Well, other than Flood Strand, which is not very exciting to choose here.
Just like really good like reptiles and stuff. Really good. I know, it's really good.
They're all playing against you game 1. So game 2, it's like, I have to just get that shit out. You're already overly against me.
For all people, it's like, you know,
You're just like, I have too many cards. So really just like shuffle around. So like, then you move into like, you already have the other game. It's like, yep.
I brought confidence.
You're already way ahead. Like, our time is just for, if you have to do that,
How many brainstorm you played?
2 brainstorm, 1.
Yeah, keeping track of Yosef's cantrip count.
And then like wheel and then draw your bomb out.
When you discard.
I didn't think so.
Instead, discard. Ponder.
Okay, instead of discarding, we're going to surgical ponder? And it looks like it was a big hit. Oh my goodness. All right, well.
It's a very good hit.
Wow. I did not expect that. Okay. Well, surgical, of course, very important in this matchup, but just destroyed Yosef's hand with a surgical on ponder. 3 of the cards in hand were ponder, and now they're gone.
That's awesome.
The rest of the hand, Urza Saga, Trop, Daze, and Brazen Borrower. Yeah, and Andrea, credit to Andrea, has several times in this match had really good reads on what Yosef's hand could be. A little bit of mind reading there with that surgical, huh? That was actually impressive. Surgical ponder. It looked like a goofy play, but destroyed Yosef's hand. Wow. There's still a No Man's in Core on the battlefield, which is dangerous. It's attacking. Prioritizing Trop over Urza Saga. Knows there's a wasteland on the other side of the table. Urza Saga, a much better choice for wasteland here. Oh, Andrea's going to fire off wasteland on Trop? Okay. Don't know if I like that choice, but if we play another wasteland, maybe it looks good. Okay, end step flat or with the floating mana, flashing and Brazen Borrower.
Ah, yeah, with the floating.
Yeah, with the floating. So now we go into second phase. Or combat if you want.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Have a good night, everyone.
Have a good night.
Okay, Red Blast to counter Brazen Borrower. Okay.
You have no mana? I'll daze it.
Okay, using the Daze to protect Brazen Borrower. Okay. Okay, there's a little bit of a stack right now. Brazen Borrower is getting Red Blasted. Okay. Red Blast is dazed. Brazen Borrower resolves. That's its turn. Okay, so it looks like Yosef is now in the clear to play Urza's Saga. Plays the island instead. Attacks for 4.
Yeah. Respond to
Whereas goblins would only have to learn how to play one die. Your haymaker sideboard cards.
Does the surgical earlier also tell us that Andrea has another surgical in hand? Or some other disruptive card? Okay, another wasteland for Andrea. Oh, nope. Ponder first. Okay.
People also evolve their sideboard haymakers are not based on like where everything leaves. Like you can be on versus control with dominate and dominate skills and so we or you can move into a land.
Wasteland will be pretty good at getting rid of Urza's Saga if Yosef plays it. It's possible Yosef won't play it now. Okay, plays a Pluto Delta instead.
So like there's so much more range and like where you can pivot and move to. You try to learn.
Yosef has a clock though with this Brazen Borrower, and Andrea's gonna have to deal with that at some point. Playing Urza's Saga. Okay, gets a mana. Gets a whatever. It can make mana. Teferi, Parter of Veils.
The thing is that both of those decks get some amount of free wins.
Sorry, when you said
It's possible we'll see a fight over Teferi. Counter magic is just not very good anymore if Teferi resolves, so you usually see people try to counter it. Force pitching Daze. It's countered.
so I go down to 7.
I challenged myself out of Red Elemental Blast. I gotta watch that. Like the matchups where it makes sense to bring it in, but use it before you.
All right. Knowing the top cards of the deck, I think we're going to fetch here, find a Volcanic Island. Lightning Bolt, awkward. With Nomads and Core having someone to transfer the damage over to.
I feel like Legacy's really healthy right now. They're getting rid of the troll.
Yeah.
Like that reanimate combo thing on turn 1 is gone, and then nobody has to worry about getting microspawn out on turn 3. Like, I feel like it's like pretty.
Okay, plays the Wasteland. We might see Andrea go after the Urza Saga. Here's Murktide Regent, though. That'll be a good blocker. And later on, maybe Attacker.
You know how players are. It's always
Wow,
nice.
sugar man.
It's always good.
Measure?
Yeah. Do you think if we just ban one card from Oops, that'll be perfect? Bring that percentage of that deck down?
Full count.
I mean,
Massive.
Okay, it looks like a 7/7 Murktide is going to come in.
I would be.
Okay, Urza Saga is destroyed. Seems correct.
This is 9 and
The dog says, I think that Pithing Needle is one of the most effective cards to side in for breakfast. You mean against breakfast or in the breakfast deck? Against breakfast, it can be effective, stopping Nomads and Core or Shuko.
And I think I probably would have gotten it that way.
Against Delver, Needle doesn't really do a lot. Okay, we're talking about against breakfast. That makes sense.
That was a smart way to get rid of the
Hedge me, Surveil.
Oh yeah. 3 mana to go.
Not sure who has priority right now. Okay, so Yosef had priority, left the card on top with Surveil, passing the turn. I still can't get over that surgical on Ponder. That was funny.
Protection.
Completely unexpected outcome. And Yosef is aware it's likely that Andrea has other graveyard hate cards in hand if that surgical was just fired off in that way. Aggressive surgical on Ponder worked out really nicely. Andrea taking some risks. Gotta respect that. No man's in core again. They're not so good in multiples. Or whatever. I mean, obviously having multiples is insurance in a way, but they don't do anything extra in multiples necessarily.
No, it's not. It's like
At least not at the moment. 7/7 Murktide on defense. Unlikely to attack. We're just going to pass. Andrea with a likely very defensive hand right now.
right now, bro. There's like so many times I can you have funny silence,
Okay, a third No Man's in Core.
yes, almost.
We did Andrea to untap, play a swamp, and cast Plague Engineer. That's what we need. If you're rooting for Andrea, that's what we're that's the unlikely thing we're hoping for.
Change like fetch. We change like a prismatic vista for a scouting turn. We change an island for a couple guys on the side for this mine.
Okay, there's a Delver. Murktide likely still going to be on defense here. It's a 7/7 Murktide, but at 6 life, Andrea's in a little bit of a awkward spot to start attacking. But if Insectile Aberration arrives, we may see Murktide start to swing. Maybe. Pyroblast revealed. It's pretty good. That Pyroblast might be pretty good here. It can counter Cephalid Illusionist. It can counter Nadu. I don't think, unless we have backup stuff in hand, we want to eliminate Brazenbauer at the moment. All right, attacking with the 7/7 Murktide, getting aggressive. Going on offense.
Usually it's fine.
I'll take it. So,
Or then like the one that lets you.
All right, passing the turn, potentially setting up a lethal attack on the following turn. We know about Pyroblast in Andrea's hand. If Yosef does nothing, blow up Brazenbauer, attack for lethal, potentially.
There's some space there, but there's not a lot of
cast Orange Chance.
They used to do it.
I don't know this.
Orum's Chant.
Until the end of my turn.
Alright, you kind of got to decide what deck now to do it. Or Chalice on one and never go down.
On the stack.
If I'm playing
Legacy, you don't need anything else. You can't afford it.
Kigur, right?
No kick. It's just you, target player can't cast spells this turn.
But I love that part. That part's great. It's just I don't want it to be unforgiving. When you got to enchant them, to be like, oh, I made one mistake.
Okay,
and I might
on the stack.
unbeatable because that one mistake. I want to have forgiveness against certain decks.
Yeah, Orum's Chant's always been kind of a nasty card. It's on the stack right now. Target player can't cast spells this turn. Likely means that Yosef's going to try to combo. Or could mean that. Probably means that. Maybe, probably. Most likely. Thinking about what to pitch to force. It is a consign to memory, countering. Orum's Chant.
The combat. 6.
Attacking for 6. Okay, understanding the situation here. Pyroblasting a Brazenbauer could block a Nomads with Insectile Aberration. Okay, Yosef will lose 2 creatures.
It's the best deck because it's fixed.
Yeah.
Once people are like, oh, we're losing to this thing, we'll just adjust it back into the
I hope that Power Blast wasn't the last hope.
But it's always the best deck that's churning and getting everybody else fun.
I knew that.
I put you in a tough spot.
All right, it resolves. The Insect Celebration could have traded with the Brazen Bower, and Yosef might have done a gotcha here. Going off a little bit, found a prismatic ending. No further creatures so far. Dark Amoeba.
I think it's
It's possible that Andrea's learning a lesson here of, like, again, what we were talking about earlier. Like, do you prioritize just, I'm going to hold this Power Blast? The only thing it's going to be used for is Nadu, let's say. Let's just say. And I'm willing to lose Insect Elaboration in combat to prevent the possibility of a Nadu or Cephalid Illusionist. All right, passing the turn. Murktide Regent, 7/7. Could force a block with Nadu here, but Nadu still has 6 activations it can do.
I think it seems better than
Yeah, Mr. Arch saying Nadu cannot hit the table.
You play your mana card before mana card, and then you do it. Well, then are you playing chasing guy? Every turn. Are you playing that color change guy?
But it's possible. You know, we've seen some mind reading in this game from Andrea. It's possible that we thought the last card in hand is not Nadu. I'm gonna Pyro Blast this Brazen Bower and swing for lethal. Sometimes you take those risks. You know, sometimes in the comments section, not just for this channel, but all the channels, you see people like, "Oh, you never make that play," and you know, this is from Monday Night Legacy, the match we're watching right now. But Pro Tour Finals, do you Pyro Blast that Brazen Bower with all the money and glory on the line? A hypothetical question, but really, what would you do? Swing for lethal on the next turn. Is the person's last card in hand Nadu? What's the right play? Molten Collapse on Nadu, okay.
just one. Okay. Because I have no.
Like all the ways that I can try and retrade parfait. Like I've been trying to make parfait work.
Ooh, found swords.
Oh yeah.
Spawn.
I'm just gonna be paradise. Just enough resources to play like a third degree board is just fine. It's kind of funny how bad it is though. Like I find out like the constraints of it is because it.
Audrey remembers redo keeping 7, no land against combo, and winning on this channel. I don't remember that, actually. I'll need a link.
Like every non-island you put into your deck, like their gush is worse.
Is there a white source left in Yosef's deck? That's actually a good question. It's possible there isn't. It's possible. Nadu is gone. Got Molten Collapsed. Yosef has a handful of cards, but Murktide is just at 1 power short. It's a 7/7.
But I can't remember.
Terrible.
Yeah, no way. Same as you.
No.
No way. Go.
Oh, it is pretty nice. Like there's a format where because the only free counter magic.
But keeping Murktide back on defense at 2 life, it's painful.
We'll actually have to play spells that are more than 2 minutes.
Meticulous Archive, Surveil for Yosef now. Does Yosef... Wait a second. Does Yosef have another Nadu or... I kind of lost track of what cards are found with Nadu now. I think there was another Nadu. There's a Saga's gonna tick up.
Yeah, yeah. It's like essentially like against the control decks that are playing.
The Nomads are obviously untapped. Swords on Murktide is the first play of the turn.
Line up the swords that's already plus a card. Then between foil and your own counter magic, like you're just not gonna have enough resources to win that war.
Hey, Murktide has been removed. Carpet of Flowers, okay.
And then we'll just play this a long controlling game where we'll go
3 blue.
They have more flanks in their deck.
Use 2 of it, so I have 1 of the floating magic.
There's a counter war over whatever they try to do because they will be compelled to act because they have flanks in their deck. And then after that counter war, you brain freeze them and the game ends.
Oh, these are on top. So targets.
Okay, we kind of accidentally moved to second main here without attacking. There's a Carpet of Flowers, I guess. A whole bunch of cards in hand here, including a Cavern of Souls that gets played. Cephalid Illusionist found. Andrea's tapped out.
There's only so many plans that the Dreadnought player can actually afford to support on the board. So
Yosef has like 37 cards in hand. Murktide didn't attack with 2 power on the board and Andrea at 2 life. Couldn't really attack with Murktide there. Another Nomads and Core. Just going to continue going off here. I saw Dread Return in hand. There's Thassa's Oracle.
The reason I think that the Dreadnought deck is the best deck be the best deck is because they're the ones who can actually do that sort of like plan if they want to. So like if they're like, oh, I'm going into that solution, I am going to maneuver this Oracle.
Thassa's Oracle on the stack.
In response to the trigger on myself.
Price of Progress was in hand. Oh boy, actually that's interesting. GG's. Yosef gets it. A good match. Well played. Well played. Wow. Yeah, Yosef fetched a 7 at end of turn after Murktide didn't attack. I guess if Murktide had attacked, he just wouldn't do that. I guess. I don't know. Discord. Join our Discord. Make sure you are subscribed to our YouTube channel. Make sure you are subscribed to our YouTube channel. That's free. Stick around for a raid. I'll see everybody soon. Peace out.